So you finally about to get your own spot. Finally moving out of mom's crib, moving out mom's basement. You want to get you an apartment. Some stuff you need to consider, bro, before you jump out the window and have to end up running back home. You know, uh, just a few budgeting tips, a few things you need to consider, a few things you need to stack for before you make that move, so that when you make the move, you know, you comfortable and you good. You're not out struggling and can't even enjoy your spot. You feel me? So first things first, of course, you need to understand the cost, man. You need to understand all the costs and fees that's about to come with getting you this spot, man, getting you your own crib. There's several things you need to consider. Some things you're probably not thinking about. And I just want to make sure you done budgeted for everything and you ain't running into no surprises after you done signed that lease. So first, of course, the rent. That's the first thing you need to consider. How much is the rent and can you afford that rent? Of course, the rent gonna depend based on the area that you're staying in. A nicer suburban neighborhoods most likely gonna cost more than the rundown inner cities. The size of the spot, you know what I'm saying, a new build compared to an older building, all of these things is gonna come into play when you're talking about how much rent you're gonna be having to pay. But that's the first thing you need to budget for. You need to ask yourself, can I afford to pay this rent, and can I afford to pay this rent a couple times over? You don't want to barely be getting by when it comes to paying your rent after you done paid your rent and all your bills. You have $0 left. That's not how you want to live, and you're probably not ready to get that spot if that's going to be the case. So calculate how much money you're making with all your expenses and all that stuff. How much rent can you afford to pay? At the end of the month, you want to still have some bread left over. Then the security deposit is another thing you need to consider. Usually it's 1 to 2 months rent. So if a spot is $900, your security deposit might be $900, it might be $1,800. Some places go based off your credit. The better your credit is, the better security deposit you get, and the worse it is, the higher your security deposit gonna be. And then you get that security deposit back when you move out the spot if you ain't destroyed their place, right? If everything still looks decent, you get your security deposit back when you move out. But that's something you need to consider, and that's something you need to stack up for before you make that move, so that you got the security deposit and your first month's rent, and you still comfortable after paying all of those things. You're not flat broke. Of course, you also need to budget for the utilities, the gas, the water, electricity, Wi-Fi. Are these things included, or do you got to pay these things out of your pocket? If these things are not included, you need to calculate and overshoot how much you probably gonna have to pay. Typically, the apartment complex can give you a general idea about how much people pay for these utilities, right? The water is typically around this much. Electricity is typically around as much. So they'll give you a general idea, and then you can take that down and add a few more dollars on top of that, just so you are overshooting it. You don't want to undershoot yourself and then not have enough money. So overshoot whatever they say, whatever the typical range is for these apartments, and then add a couple dollars on top of that. And then you need to consider your furniture and appliances. If it's not coming with any appliances, if it don't come with a fridge, washer, dryer, all that stuff, and they say that you can put that in your spot, you need to consider that. What type are you trying to get? Are you trying to go all the way, or are you trying to just get something to get you by? You know what I'm saying? If it comes with these things, consider the furniture. What type of bed do you want? Couch, table, TV, all these type of things, bro. Calculate all of this stuff before you make your move, and just see if this is something that you're gonna be able to do. If you are in the situation where you about to grind it out and thug it out with a roommate, and y'all just need a place to stay, and you don't want to stay with your peoples no more, and y'all are okay with not having no furniture and sleeping on the floor, but you got a place to stay, then cool, that's on you. But if you want your spot to be a little laid, where you got some furniture and all that stuff, then you need to consider, what type of furniture am I about to get? I'm about to go to IKEA, you know what I'm saying? Or am I about to go to a West Elm or something like that, and go all the way, and then price it out? Am I going to do a couch and a table and a TV and call it a day? Am I trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, get a general idea of the type of layout you want to have, if any, the bed you want to have, the essentials, and then add that to your budget. Write all of this stuff down, bro. If you're not writing this down, you need to actually see the dollar amounts on paper, so you can see how much you're about to have to come out of, and see how much you need to be stacking for. There's also some other things that you're probably not thinking about, or you might not be considering, like renter's insurance. That's something that you got to pay for an apartment if flood damage or fire sometimes, or a break-in, whatever the case may be. Renter's insurance just covers you in certain areas, so that if something happens, you got the insurance to cover you and reimburse you. A lot of the times And typically you would pay that amount up front when you first sign your lease, right? So you might have to pay $100 for the whole year or $200 for the whole year for your renter's insurance, and then you cover it for the year. But that's just another expense that you need to look into in whatever area you in. Parking, some places make you pay to park your car at your apartment. Sound crazy, but some places do make you pay. Ask them, is parking free, or do I have to pay for parking? And if you got to pay for it, you need to include that. Some people make you pay per car. So if you got 2 cars, you got to pay for both cars to park at this spot. Another thing you need to add to the budget. Add to the things that you got to come out of every month. You need to consider groceries. You need to add that down. You need to consider gas. You need to add that down. Roughly how much per month are you going to be spending on food, and how much you're going to be spending on gas. Add that to the budget. Add that to the money that's going to be coming out your pocket every month. Because again, if you barely getting by, you got $0 left over at the end of the month, and you can't afford to get no food, now you're going to be in this spot and you starving. So add that, and always overshoot on the budget. Don't sell yourself short and act like you don't be eating for real. Add a few more dollars on that food budget and that gas budget. And if you under it, then cool, you got some extra money left over. So the way you want to do this budget, bro, this is a simple way, man, to just make sure that you safe and you not running out of money while you in this new apartment, right? You want to write down how much money do you bring in for the whole month, calculate your income, right? On average, how much do you bring in for the month? If you got a job that gives you overtime, you don't want to live off your overtime, because sometimes overtime gets canceled or overtimes get cut out, right? So you want to go off your base income amount. How much can you afford? So you write that down for your income, and then your rent, you want that to be about 30% of your income. You don't want your rent to be 100% of the money that you make, because now you have nothing left over. Let your rent be about 30% of your income if you can. If one job ain't enough, it sounds like you need to get another job. Sounds like you need to get a side hustle, right? Increase your income so that 30% is going to your rent. Now you got 70% left over to do other things and allocate to other things. You want 10% of your income to go towards the utilities I was talking about. The gas, electric, Wi-Fi. These are things that you need. These are essentials. And water. Let 10% of your income go to these things. This is how you budget for your new spot. Now we have 40% for the rent and the utilities. You're going to need an emergency fund. You're going to need savings. I would recommend having an emergency fund before you even move. If you're in a situation where you can't, then take 10% of your income and put it away every month towards savings and an emergency fund. But you for sure need one, and I would recommend having one before you even move. But again, if you can't, do it while you in there. Take 10% of the money that you make and put it to the side for a rainy day, because something will happen. And so now this last 50% left over, now you still have half of your income left. This can be discretionary spending. I don't want to tell you every single area to do with your money, but you still got 50% of money left over. And I would advise you not to blow it, right? I would advise you to look into some sort of investments. Take a little bit of that, 10-15% of that. You know what I'm saying? You can spend it on entertainment if you got the money. Go out once a month. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy yourself. But if you can live off of half of your income, bro, now you're looking way more safe, and you're looking way more like you're not going to lose your apartment or get put out or have to call your moms like, I got to come back because I can't afford this, right? Try to live off half of your income, 50% of your income. If you budget it that way, you're a lot more safe, and it's a lot more smarter with your money. You don't want to be living off 100% of your income just to pay your bills, bro. So if you're in the process of look you up some apartments, you know what I'm saying? Find something that fits within the budget. Find something that is closer to a better neighborhood than not, but everybody ain't in a position to where they can. But if you can, you want to look to somewhere where you feel safe, where you can park your car and you can sleep good at night. You ain't got to worry about nobody breaking in your spot and all that crazy stuff, right? Those are the benefits that come with having a couple extra dollars. You get to pay for a peace of mind. Start stacking for your security deposit. Start putting your money away for your security deposit as soon as you can. If you a young dude, no kids, no girl, find you a roommate and y'all thug it out. Now y'all can really stack you up some bread, right? Y'all ain't got to live in y'all mom's basement. 2 roommates, thug it out, bro. Living off bare minimum, but you could stack bread quick that way if you got a roommate. It's not always ideal. It's not always fun, but what we talking about? It's your first apartment. So these are just a few things to think about, bro. When you get these apartments, I know the first thing you thinking is like, it's about to be so lit. You about to have all this freedom, all this fun, all this stuff. Yes, that may be true. All this stuff might come with it, But at the same time, you got to remember, you got to pay for this spot every single month, bro. Every single month, you got to spend money on this place. So don't just think about the fun aspect about how free you about to be and how many chicks you about to have coming over your crib, right? And then also, if this is your first spot, make sure you got a stash of some rubs, you know, so that you're not out here messing your life up off your first apartment. You done got 2 chicks pregnant because you done lost your mind. Relax, bro. Relax. This helped in any kind of way, you feel me? Hit the like, the share, the subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, man. And I'm gonna get back on y'all soon. Peace.